Speculation about Roger's future comes as New South Wales Health Minister warned that state could expect 25,000 COVID cases a day by the end of January. The Australian Medical Association doesn't care about balancing a budget or the state's credit rating. It cares about one thing. We are going to convince Italians to come to WA with the tagline, Western Australia, it's like no other.
You think Roger Cook's running out of gas?
Well, he's been Health Minister, or Shadow Health Minister, since September 26, 2008. So that's 13 years and 2 or 3 months. Have a look at him now. That's what 13 years in the health system does to a man. 13 years is longer than the statutory minimum sentence for armed robbery, assault, extortion and manslaughter. So yeah, he's done his time. Let's set him free. If you're wondering whether he's run out of juice, have a listen to Roger explain who has to pay for the PCR test when you come back into WA under new travel rules.
Yeah, so I did try to clarify it yesterday, and I think I was remarkably unsuccessful in that mission.
That was the most confusing thing a politician said since this.
Chihuahua. I stand corrected on the pronunciation of the dog. She would flight like a chihuahua.
The contenders to replace Roger as Health Minister are hole digger-in-chief Rita Safiotti and footy kicker-in-chief Tony Butty. With relative newbie Amber Jade Sanderson, who everyone's talking up as a political genius, but who is yet to actually do anything, is in the running also.
You've reported on health ministers for a while. Any advice?
Fly, you fools!
As when eating any sandwich, spread it thin and take small bites. In politics, there are a few things you can win at. You can win as Premier. When times are good, you can win as Treasurer. And you can win as Police Minister.
If you feel the need to thank God today, thank God for the Western Australian Police Force.
You can't win as Prisons Minister, Housing Minister, or Health Minister. Being in those portfolios for a full parliamentary term is like 4 years of this.
It's not always a shit show.
Name me one period in the past 30 years where the health system wasn't in crisis. It's been in crisis under Roger Cook, John Day, Kim Hames, Jim McGinty, Bob Kuchera, John Day Mark I, Kevin Prince, Graham Kirith and Peter Foss.
You're showing your age now. Why is health so hard?
It's got too many moving parts and you've got no control over a lot of it. It rubs against a federal health system, GPs, aged care, disability service. You have to, with equal weighting and care, cater for the health needs of an Aboriginal child in the remote Kimberley and a 90-year-old nana from Dalkeith. The state system is governed by a number of boards, which are independent. Kind of. The Health Minister also doesn't have much control over the private sector, which is a massive part of the system. The budget is astronomically big and growing out of control, and the system is riddled with vested interests. The Australian Medical Association doesn't care about balancing a budget or the state's credit rating. It cares about one thing.
Money, 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 money.
When was the last time you heard Mark Olson from the Australian Nursing Federation say anything other than there's not enough nurses and we need to pay them more?
Well, a lot of nurses have quit in the last year.
We've got staff shortages everywhere, but you reckon the Royal Colleges of various surgical disciplines are going to take their foot off the hose to increase supply? Reduce demand for their professional services?
How about no?
You're going toe-to-toe with Big Pharma, private health insurance funds. Canberra, there's a parliamentary opposition that nitpicks everything you do, and international organisations which set minimum standards of care you must follow or you're in breach of certain human rights. And every senior clinician you speak to is a subject matter expert who can blind you with science.
In the face of overwhelming odds, I'm left with only one option. I'm going to have to science the shit out of this.
And if you dare to say no to them, refuse to give them the pay rises or the extra staff or the new equipment, they say, that's your decision, Minister, but I must warn you, children may die. And sometimes they do.
Yep. Good time to hit the ejector button.
Speculation about Roger's future comes as New South Wales Health Minister warned that state could expect 25,000 COVID cases a day by the end of January. So yeah, it's a good time to pass the ball to the next person.
And Roger deserves a holiday. Summer in Italy is lovely.
and direct flights to Rome now.
Exciting. Bit of a game changer.
The first direct flight to London was a game changer. This is a game slight alterer. But good news, and good news to see the Premier has patched up his relationship with Alan Joyce. We are going to convince Italians to come to WA with the tagline, Western Australia, it's like no other.
Catchy.
So they can escape the hellhole that is Lake Como for a waterside experience like no other. They can trade their traditional shopping trip for one like no other. Challenge their palates with exotic tastes like no other. Perhaps even find love in places like no other. Mark McGowan says the new campaign will promote WA's safe, stable and strong lifestyle, highlight WA's natural beauty as being like no other, and convince people like Italians that their unique attractions aren't a patch on ours.
You're a cynic like no other.
The new campaign is aimed at international students and, more importantly, skilled migrants, which this state needs urgently because a lack of staff is a key reason our health system is a shambles. But still better than Italy's.
That's amore.
I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.